Hello, I would like to alert you to a document written by SAGE, the government's scientific advisors, on the 22nd of March 2020, called Options for Increasing Adherence to Social Distancing Measures. This was written the day before the actual lockdown, and it specifically states in this document how the government are going to use the media to try and exaggerate the threat of COVID, to install fear into the public so they will behave in certain ways. I'm just going to quote a few things. I have it on my laptop next to me, so that hence where my head is. But it states at one stage about persuasion, it says perceived threat. I'm quoting from this document. A substantial number of people still do not feel sufficiently personally threatened. It could be that they are reassured by the low death rate in their demographic group, although levels of concern may be rising. Having a good understanding of the risk has been found to be positively associated with the adoption of COVID-19 social distancing measures in Hong Kong. The perceived level of personal threat needs to be increased among those who are complacent, using hard-hitting emotional messaging. And further down at the end of this document, there is Appendix B, which is an evaluation grid on options to rapidly increase general social distancing. And it states one of the options is use the media to increase sense of personal threat. And it says use the media to increase sense of personal responsibility to others. Use media to promote positive messaging about action. This, in my view, is a case of domestic terrorism. They are telling you, in plain certain terms, that they are going to install fear into you. They are going to make the threat worse, sound worse than it actually is. They are stating, they are exaggerating the threat. And right now, we are in an information war because this is being ramped up right now. I am seeing so many posts about the hospitals bursting and struggling to cope. And it is a very emotive message because it's very hard to criticise that, because then you are seen to be criticising doctors and nurses and insulting everyone who supposedly has COVID. But there's a lot of these emotional messages out there. There's also these messages being reported on the likes of the BBC about new strains, new mutations. But remember, from the horse's mouth, they're telling you that they are exaggerating the threat. They want to increase the threat. They are deliberately putting out false information out there, fake news and half-truths at best, to try and get the public to accept more draconian lockdowns. And that is happening right now. And we are in information war, and we need more keyboard warriors. It's not hard to be a keyboard warrior. Sometimes you get slated for it, but it's vitally important because there are so many threads on social media where people are posting these stories. They're posting where the BBC News or the other corporate media, they are posting all this stuff about new strains, new mutations, all these supposed alleged stories about bursting hospitals. And this is half-truths at best, and it is information that's been put out there deliberately to promote this agenda of continuous, relentless, never-ending lockdowns and restrictions, and to get the public to accept these things, to get the public to be okay with being severed off from their friends and family, and be severed off from normal everyday life. Things that they would not normally accept under normal circumstances, but they can only push these things with this kind of propaganda in place. We're in the information war, and we need to get truth to combat this. We need people out there on social media, on all the different platforms, rebutting all these fake news stories, all the stuff as described in this document. The stuff that group like 77 Brigade, which is an arm of the British military, which is deliberately posting pro-lockdown stuff on social media to try and give the impression that is what the public want. So people who are a little bit sceptical might be thinking, oh, well, that's what everyone else seems to want, so maybe that's the way to go. Maybe it isn't so bad after all. We need ordinary people posting truthful information and truthful links about the fraud, about the nature of this vaccine, about everything going on to combat this propaganda initiative. We are in an information war, and getting out of this psychological operation and getting back to normal life is very much dependent on us winning that information war. You've seen it there from the horse's mouth. They are telling you they're exaggerating the threat. So remember this document, SAGE report, options for increasing adherence to social distancing, 22nd of March 2020. Remember that whenever you see anything on the news. They're telling you from the horse's mouth that they're exaggerating the threat, that they have deliberate agenda. That's what all the news stories out there are doing. They're out there, they've got an agenda behind them. And we as ordinary people need to fight back on the keyboards, on the internet, and win this information war. Thank you for watching.